Morning, everyone. Thank you, Sharon. Just cutting across the big screen. So, what am I going to talk to you about today? I am going to try and keep this 15 minutes. I've got 20, but that might give me a couple of minutes for some questions. I'm a great believer in sort of doing what you say you're going to do. I think I work in a technology space. Prior to that, I've worked in the lender space. Customer satisfaction, customer service is critical. Okay, but people also buy from people. A lot of time in technology. Who remembers the program Tomorrow's World? Yeah, fantastic. A lot of time in technology, I hear Tomorrow's World all the time, and people are worrying about what's going to happen in 4 or 5 or 6 years' time. I think we should just focus on yesterday's world, i.e., what's the stuff that's already here that we're not utilising that will make our lives better? Stop worrying about what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years' time. People like to paint a picture about what's going to happen. Why? They might be trying to sell their business, right? Let's focus on what's here today. And also, focusing what's going to happen in 4 or 5 years' time, let's be honest, I've heard people refer to it as a mug's game. Who would have said 6 weeks ago that we'd see interest rates and lenders with products starting with an 8 today? Who would have said 2 years ago that house prices would have gone up by 20%? Right? You can talk about what's going to happen in the future, but how much of it really does happen. So I want to talk about us as a brand and us as a business. I want to talk about what I said when I was at these events last year and what's actually happened. I want to talk about what's changed, what can you expect to see in the next 12 months, and then I want to talk a little bit about how we're going to support the market. And I'm not going to talk about stuff that we're thinking of doing. I'm going to talk about stuff that we're already doing that's going to be released in the next 12 months. Stuff that you will see today in our roundtable presentation. Believe it or not, we had that video made about 6 weeks ago. Some of that stuff's already out of date, given what's happened in the last 6 weeks. It just goes to show you the pace of change. So when we were here last year, what did we say? There were 5 things that we said. We said that we'd started to see a rise in the use of criteria and affordability tools, and we predicted that would carry on. And the reason we predicted it would carry on is we felt that actually, if you remember the hype, the Gartner hype curve, you got to that trusted part, and then people had confidence in the systems. We said that more lenders would start supporting these API integrations. Now, I remember there was people back in 2018, 2019 saying by the end of the year that this would be rife in the marketplace. We didn't think it would be. We're 4 years later. I think we're getting to the point in the next 12 months where we will achieve critical mass. What do I mean by critical mass? I mean that you'll be able to do more than 50% of your business through integrations without going to lender sites. That's what I think is critical mass. And again, more business will be done via integrations. I think we're starting to see that, but we haven't reached critical mass yet. We said don't believe all the noise. Why do we say don't believe all the noise? Well, that's just tomorrow's world all over again. Yeah, if I could have had a newspaper print of all the things that people said 12 months ago were going to happen, we could have fun for the next 15 minutes going through all the things that haven't happened. And we said that we would deliver a new CRM. We haven't quite delivered it yet, but what you're going to see today is pretty close to being delivered. So, a few facts. We now have over 85 lenders. Actually, since we put these slides together, that's now over 90 lenders. Tandem Bank were added to it this week. That user number, that's actual individuals that have gone onto our system and done more than one search. That's nearly doubled from this time last year. Okay? Now, I've not sold more systems. That's the same people that have got access. What that's telling me, I have sold more, but I haven't doubled my sales. What that's telling me is people have used it once and they're now going back and using it on multiple occasions. Why? Because it makes life easier and it's trusted. If you look at those searches, 155,000 searches a month. That has more than doubled from where we were last year. So again, I'm talking now about not tomorrow's world. I'm talking now about, quick show of hands, who uses, not my system, who uses a criteria system? Whether it's Smarter, Knowledge Bank. So probably about 70% of the people in the room put their hand up. I'd ask the other 30%, why? If 70% of your peers are using these systems, they're using it for a reason, because it's helping them. Most of them are free. Use them. We've also launched masterclasses, so we get the ability to go onto these systems and talk to specialist lenders. Again, post-COVID, we know that it's challenging for people to come out to some offices. So actually coming to events like this and doing these masterclasses, we hope are real benefits to brokers. Who's used my affordability calculator? Ooh. Oh, that's better. Slow hands coming up, thank you. So again, if we look at that now, we've got just under 3,000 people using it. Again, we've seen a doubling in that. I'm really pleased with that. There's only 37 lenders on it. I think they cover about 95% of all your mainstream business though, and we haven't built buy-to-let yet. But if I look at that, 38,000 searches, imagine the data that we can share back with firms now about your typical customer, about typical affordability rates. It's really compelling. And again, when you put all three elements together, you've got the product price. I'm sure Emily will talk about product pricing. You've got the criteria, you've got the affordability. Don't forget the fourth bit that we added in free to everyone in the last 12 months was the AVM from HomeTrack. So who uses my sourcing solution here? I don't need those slow hands to come up. Actually, you can use the HomeTrack functionality, you get the same AVM a lender gets, and it's free. So actually, when you're now doing that client research, you've got everything in one place at the touch of one button. We said that more lenders would integrate. This isn't me, by the way. This is my view of the world as it sits today. So you start looking at that now. Or don't look at that now. It's back again. Lender integrations. So a partial or a full dip. What do I mean by a partial dip? I mean, that's now where you can take data either from your sourcing solution or your CRM and you can push it straight into the lender system. Saves you going into that lender system and keying it all in. It means you've got the same data in your systems as the lenders in the system. You've eradicated any inadvertent mistakes like date of birth or address. So you look at that now. Partial dip means you push data. Full dip means you push data and you get the response back. Got some technical problems here. It's back again. We will continue to see that grow. I'll just look at the names on that list there. HSBC is probably the anomaly on there at this moment in time. But if I look at my system, selfishly for a moment, by the end of this year, Santander, Halifax, Nationwide, Barclays Bank, Accord, Platform, Coventry, you've got to be getting close to over 70% of your business you'll be able to do straight from a system without any rekeying to get a full dip. Surely that's got to save you some time. And this isn't tomorrow's world, this is today. So customers, this is the important bit. What's changed from customers? This is from the Institute of Customer Services. So they're a public body, 80% funded in the private sector, but they're used by the government. And they do annual surveys, which we look at. I think these are factors that some of you will know over the last, I'm not going to walk that way because it seems to cut it off. These are some of the factors that have impacted customer confidence and customer service over the last 10 years. I think there's a few on there, isn't there? So personal data and privacy. We all know that brand. If you have the data breach or people have lost data, it massively impacts the brand. That trust bit, I mean, that was rife in the banking sector, wasn't it, in the last decade? We all probably remember that. And this multi-channel or omni-channel. Again, you probably heard that previously, that whole omni-channel approach. Face, phone, email, WhatsApp, however you want to talk about it. But what actually has been the impact on productivity as a result of all these factors? I'm sure some of you will relate to some of these facts here. So, how many days have you personally spent in the last month dealing with consequences of one of your suppliers getting something wrong? 2.2 days a month on average. I would probably hazard a guess whether it's a supplier getting something wrong. If I look at what's happened in the last week, I would think you probably spent most of your days in the last week talking to customers about the impact of some of the rate changes. But just come down that list. What about your business getting something wrong or someone in your business getting something wrong? Actually, a lot of these come back to data, to systems, to controls, to processes, which is where technology can massively help. So what are the factors going forward that are going to be really important to customers, according to the Institute of Customer Services? I just want to pull out a couple of these. Your guess is as good as mine which couple I'm going to pull out. So I think the hybrid working, I think that's going to happen. How many people are in the office 5 days a week? How many people work from home? It'll be the same for our customers. I think as an industry, we've always been really good at hybrid working because we've dealt with customers where they want us to deal with them, whether it's in our offices, in their homes, at their offices. But I think it's going to become more important to customers. I think that ethical, social is going to be huge. So are your businesses using sustainable features? Access to information is going to be critical. Trust. That's the key one here, trust. And then probably the most powerful one on there is data. And why is data really important? And it goes hand in hand with trust. People are really worried about their data. You hear more and more, don't you, about data leaks. If you go on to whether it's, I think it's Noodle or Koodle or Credit Score or Credit Karma, you can see if your email address has been corrupted or sold on the black market and things like that. It's dark web, isn't it, not the black market. Actually, but if we look at these things here, they go hand in hand. Now, it's not quite tomorrow's world, but open banking. Who wants to hazard a guess at open banking transactions from March 20 to October 20? How many were there? I'll give you, we've got times of the essence, 6.1 million. Open banking transactions March 21 to October 21. Same 6-month period a year later. Just over 20 million. It's not hit mortgages yet, but if you go into car finance, personal loans, open banking is there, everything. It will come into mortgages in one way or another. Probably not the fact that you're going to use open banking to give documents to a lender, but actually probably more so that when you onboard a customer, you'll use some open banking so that you've got access to 3 months or 6 months of their bank statements. How does that help? Well, straight away you eradicate the lender wants a full 3 months, you've got it. Yeah, because open banking can satisfy that. One thing that we need to get over is the cost. Yeah, but in tomorrow's world, could you see, maybe not in the next 12 months, but could you see that you've onboarded a customer, they've given you permission to use their open banking, it sits in your client portal, you submit it to a lender, that permission is used by the same lender to view the same open banking and take the data? Absolutely. You could see that. But consumers trust it. They now trust open banking. The numbers don't lie. Mobile usage stats. How many people here have got a website? How many people have checked their website on their mobile phone? Yeah, does it do what you want it to do? Your plugins, your Contact Me, your fact finds, your client portals, okay? Everyone deals on their mobile phones these days. Customers are going to access your data in your business via their mobile phones. Make sure your tech works on a mobile. If it doesn't, come and talk to one of my team. Amazon and e-commerce. And I've put this on there, and it's a bit of a curveball, because we talk about that sort of the green, the ethical, the sustainability. Yeah, I know I'm probably one of those people that I want something, and I just press the button on Amazon. And then the next day, the big chunky diesel van turns up outside my house. The world's biggest box arrives with a golf ball in it. Right? But actually, I want to be ethical, I want to be sustainable, I want to do my bit for the planet. We have to think about things like this. Actually, Amazon and these companies, you'll start seeing it changing. You'll start seeing people like Every, which was Hermes, now using electric vans everywhere they go. It's going to change. The world is changing around us. So, what tools actually exist today to help you with these customers? Websites and best buys. They're there. You can go and take plugins. There's multiple people that will give you plugins for product data, for criteria data, for client portals. It's all there. And it's all mobile device agnostic. And it's cheap. And it works. Client portals. How many people use a CRM here? How many people have got a client portal? Fantastic. So again, you're in a world now where you can actually, a customer can come through a secure link and fill out their fact find and have all the data validated before you even see it. It's got to save you time. And you're not taking away the personal bit, because actually when you speak to them, you're just validating the information they've given you anyway. It just saves you writing it all down on a bit of paper and then rekeying it, or someone rekeying it. Marketing and engagement tools. Chloe's going to talk to you later on today about consumer duty. Think carefully and listen to what Chloe's saying to you later on today about how you are contacting your customers and the information you're giving them. Not just today, but how you've got to adapt your businesses for the future. Secure messaging and authentication. This is critical. Okay? Your client data has to be stored safely and securely. I still go into some brokers' offices and we've got the filing cabinets behind with rafts of paper. I mean, yeah, it's secure because you've got a lock on the filing cabinet, but it's not really secure. So you need to think about how you're securing your client data. You need to think about how you authenticate your customers when they phone the office before you give information out to them. You phone a bank, they authenticate you. You can try and buy something now in a shop. You're getting a text, aren't you? Validate it through a mobile app. We will talk to you today about tech we're developing, which will give you that safety and security. And device agnostic, we've talked about that already. So, what can you expect? Well, I stand here next 12 months and I'd say what you can expect. From my view, these are what you can expect. Your client portals will be enhanced. There'll be more features in there, more safety, more security, meaning that we can help digitize you as brokers to compete with aggregators and compete with the disruptors coming into this market. We will see an increase in open banking stats. Absolutely guaranteed it. It will be higher than 20 million when I sit here next year. We look at the March 22 to the October 22 numbers. Better use of data. The client portals and the CRMs that are coming out will give you better data to manage your business. You'll need that data to manage the regulatory expectations being placed on you when consumer duty comes down. Seamless user experience. You will have technology that will allow you to run your businesses more efficiently, giving you better customer experiences, whether that's mobile banking apps, whether that's direct integration to lenders, whether that's policy systems, open banking systems, ID&V providers. It all sounds like tomorrow's world, but it's not. It's here today, and the usage will increase. And what does it all mean? Hopefully, you'll get better quality customers. You'll be dealing with them in the manner that they deal when they work on Amazon and what they do in their day-to-day life. I mean, you can go to the pub now and scan a QR code to get a pint or a G&T or your preferred drink. Actually, you can do the same in mortgages. Yeah, and ultimately, it's going to give you more time to do one of two things. Speak to more customers or spend more time with your families doing what it is you want to do, which is what we all go to work for anyway. That's me. I think I've done it in 20 minutes on the dot. Thank you for listening.